Hello, welcome to the Death Row and Executions channel. My name is Paco Rivera and I do a presentation on an execution that will happen soon, including a story on what got the death row inmate sentenced to death. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more death row news. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. And check out my other channel here on YouTube called The Maximum Sentence, where I cover a recent crime and conviction. There will also be a link for that. As I mentioned in the previous video, there are 3 executions scheduled for August 13th of this year. 70-year-old Carlos Cuesta Rodriguez in Oklahoma. That video appeared on this channel last week. Also set to be executed on August 13th is Jeremy Williams in Alabama. At age 41, he is the youngest of the 3 to be executed that day. And in Tennessee, Anthony Darrell Hines, who is 66 years old, and he is the case that I will be talking about today. The last time that the state of Tennessee tried to execute a death row inmate, Tony Carruthers, on May 21st, the state had to cancel the procedure with Carruthers still strapped to the gurney after technicians were unable to find a vein to set an IV line for the drugs. So we have a situation where on August 13th, the state of Tennessee will try again with another death row inmate. Sometime about 1:30 in the afternoon on March 3rd of the year 1985, a Sunday afternoon, the body of 54-year-old Katherine Jean Jenkins was found wrapped in a bedsheet in room 21 of the CeBon Motel, located in Kingston Springs, Tennessee, just off Interstate 40 between the cities of Nashville and Memphis. Katherine was a maid, or housekeeper, at the CeBon Motel, and she was in the process of cleaning the room when she was killed. Her outer clothing had been pulled up over the top of her breasts, and her undergarment had been torn in 2 pieces and removed. That underwear was found in another area of the room. Strangely, a $20 bill had been folded up and placed under the wristband of her watch. Katherine had been stabbed multiple times in the chest with a hunting knife. Other superficial cuts were found around her neck and collarbone, and there was a knife wound which penetrated through the upper portion of her privates. During the autopsy, the medical examiner also found cuts, defensive wounds, on her hands and arms as she was obviously trying to stop the attack. Katherine was the mother of 4 grown children, 3 sons and a daughter, and she had 6 grandchildren. Katherine was not only in charge of cleaning the rooms, she was left in charge of the entire motel at about 9:30 that morning by the manager, who had stepped out for a few hours. The guests who had rented rooms 9, 24, and the room she was cleaning when killed, room 21, had not checked out yet, but those guests were also out at the time. The manager had left Katherine with a bank bag containing $100 in small change to make change for guests paying for their rooms. That bank bag was found bloody and empty in room 21 with her body. Investigators determined that Katherine's car keys and her car, a 1980 silver-colored Volvo, were also missing. Also, Katherine always kept her wallet in her pocket, and that was also gone. Now, how the body was found is a bit interesting. According to reports, a friend of the manager had stopped by the hotel to talk to him, but he didn't see anybody around. He was getting ready to leave, but he had to use a bathroom for a minute, and he took from a wall in the motel office some spare keys for room 21 to use the bathroom in that room. I find it strange that there was no bathroom he could use in the motel office. Anyway, he went over to room 21 to open that door to use the bathroom, walked in, and found the battered and bloody body of the maid on the floor. Quite a coincidence that he had chosen that room to use the bathroom. 2 days earlier, On March 1st of the year 1985, 27-year-old Anthony Darrell Hines had boarded a bus in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hines was born in 1957 in Nashville, Tennessee, so he was originally from that state. Anyway, in Raleigh, he had a girlfriend, and reports indicate that the girlfriend's mother had bought a bus ticket for him to go to Bowling Green, Kentucky to visit his sister, and she also gave him $20. The bus ended up dropping him off in Kingston Springs, Tennessee, and he rented room 9 at the CeBon Motel. The girlfriend's mother would later tell authorities that Anthony Hines was carrying a hunting knife in a sheath strapped to his belt. Hines was later seen by witnesses at about 9:30 in the morning on March 3rd as he was walking to a drinks vending machine near the motel, and he told the manager, who was leaving, that he was not checking out that day. He was also seen purchasing a sandwich at a deli restaurant across the street from the motel, and he was seen walking back to the motel sometime around noon on that day. A Cheatham County sheriff responded to a call from the CeBon Motel after a man entered a room and found a bloody body on the floor. The sheriff arrived at 2:37 that afternoon. When he arrived on the scene, blood spots in the room were already beginning to dry, and the body was beginning to stiffen. A witness told investigators that at about 12:40 that afternoon, a man with very short, light-colored hair had driven away in a 1980 silver Volvo that investigators knew belonged to the victim. The witness said that the vehicle had sped away at a high rate of speed. During the manhunt, another witness came forward who said that the vehicle was traveling along Interstate 65, which is in the direction of Bowling Green, Kentucky. And then the vehicle that we know was being driven by Anthony Hines had broken down, and a group of young people tried to help him to get it started, but that did not work. So they gave him a ride to Bowling Green, Kentucky, after Hines had told them that he was going to visit his sister. Those young people would later say that Hines had dried blood on the shoulder of his shirt. Skipping ahead for a moment, Hines arrived at his sister's house in Bowling Green. When the sister saw blood on his clothes, she asked him about it. He told her that he was in the process of paying for another night at the motel when the hotel manager attacked him, and that he had to use his knife to stab the attacker. Later, while talking to his sister's husband, the brother-in-law saw some keys to a Volvo and asked Hines about it. Hines said that while hitchhiking to Bowling Green, a man in a Volvo stopped to give him a ride, but then tried to rob him. So he yanked the steering wheel to veer the Volvo off the road, and then he pulled the keys out from the ignition so that the man can't chase him, and he ran off with the keys. They always have a story, don't they? It didn't take long to track down Anthony Hines. I'm guessing he used his real name when he checked into the motel. So investigators had a name of the man described as renting room 9 and driving Katherine's Volvo. The Volvo was later recovered, and investigators learned that he was traveling to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where they learned that he had a sister. Katherine's wallet was also found near the recovered vehicle. When Hines was arrested, he was questioned about the Volvo. His response was, "Yeah, I stole the car, but I didn't kill the woman." Police had never mentioned that the owner of the car was killed. Oops. How do you know she's dead? Case closed. Anthony Hines at first gave all kinds of different stories trying to disprove that he was the killer, but eventually gave that up and told an investigator that he will give a full confession under one condition: that the state will guarantee that he gets the death penalty. Well, he got his wish. Hines was eventually extradited back to Tennessee, where he went on trial the following year. In 1987, he was convicted of robbery, indecent violation, Remember, I can't use the R word here on YouTube. And murder. And he was sentenced to death. And as I said earlier, he is one of a triple execution that is planned in the United States on August 13th of this year. I have just one question. I was unable to find in any of the reports an explanation or even a theory as to why Katherine was robbed, but a $20 bill was left wedged in the strap of her wristwatch. Was that not asked of him when he confessed? Why would he do that? Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more of these death row and upcoming execution stories so that you're alerted when the next one comes out. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. My name is Paco Rivera. Thank you for watching. Take care and bye for now.